So when did you first think that you wanted to try out for Miss Berry? Like, what was going through your mind? Did you have any intention of, trying to make it?
Um, Actually, last year I was interested in doing it, but the way they have it set up is that they really want you to be a sophomore or older. And so last year I was interested, and so I knew that when this year rolled around, I really wanted to try. Um, and originally I was kind of nonchalant about it. I was like, oh, it'll be fun, it'll be a good experience. And it's always fun to get dressed up and be on stage as the pageant went along, whatever. I really actually became interested in actually being a representative of it, and I understood like the gravity of the role and like everything it encompasses. And so I've always wanted to be in that position, and I don't know, all of those girls do, and all of those girls would have made great representatives. So it was just as it went along, I got more into it, I guess. I was a little timid at first.
Did any of the other girls intimidate you at all, like with their talents, or did you think that anyone else would get it, like before you?
Blair, she can dance really well. And Charlotte, that was probably the most unique idea dance to do, with the drumming and Dr. Lidke and just how she involved a bunch of other people. But honestly, everyone was talented. There are things that I wish I could do, like play a flute, that I can't, or recite a poem. I can't remember a poem to save my life. So there are certain things that all of the girls did that were just unique and unique to them and their personality that are commendable in all respects.
How long have you been singing, or have you ever performed like that in front of people, like with singing?
I used to sing at church and in the choir at church and did stuff on like the praise team there, but I've actually never been in like choir at school. I had some singing lessons, but those were short-lived, and I've never done anything at Berry singing. It's more of just me kind of jamming out in my car by myself. And so I've never really gone out and been like, oh, I'm always going to be a singer. It's just something that actually I do for enjoyment. So it just kind of worked out that we had to do talent, because I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot.
So when you were nominated for the top 5, what did you think? Did you think that you might have a shot when it got to there, or were you just even more nervous?
I was even more nervous, because it's kind of like once you get top 5, then you really want to win. I think I talked to a lot of girls, and it's like, yeah, once you get to the top 5, it's kind of like, then you really want to win, because you realize, oh, I could do it. I can do it, And so then I was actually very, very, very nervous about the onstage interview question, because we had no idea what those were going to be about. And so once I got in top 5, I was like, hey, that's really cool. Crud, I have to answer a question. And so it was kind of like,
Know those questions beforehand?
no, we didn't know. And so they gave us an idea, like, they'll be about Berry. But, I mean, that could be about anything. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with Berry College. So it was exciting, but at the same time, it was even more nerve-wracking, because it was like, oh, man, like, now I have to answer a question that I'm not even sure I can answer on the spot.
Yeah. So when they called your name at the end, they finally got it right. At the end.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah. Did you? How did you feel at that point?
I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, she called my name, right? Yeah, that's my name. Okay. Oh wait, she called my name, so it was kind of like, I wasn't quite sure. And thankfully for Emily Pierce, she was telling me to move to the center of the stage, because I think I was pretty much just kind of stuck. I think it was the shock of it, and just I was excited and nervous, because then I was like, oh my gosh, and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, don't trip. Don't start crying, because that's so cliche. But at the same time, like, you can't help but make those typical Miss America faces, because you really are surprised. And so you just kind of lose all, it's like an out-of-body experience. You're just kind of like there. And so much is going on at once. It was really exciting, but I was just kind of like, holy cow, like, did that just happen? So, and thankfully Emily helped me and was, because she had been there last year, so she knew exactly, and she was really helpful in kind of making sure I was in the right spot, because if left to my own devices, I just probably would have stood there.
Awesome. So some of the funds that were sold for the tickets went to Natalie Henderson Bates for the fundraiser for the leukemia fund thing. How well did you know Natalie? Do you think that it brought out a lot of money from that? And like, do you think it was a good idea to do that?
I know Natalie because I'm a WinShape student, and last year we were given Big Sisters. The senior girls kind of when we came in as freshmen, took us under their wings, and Natalie was my big sister. And she was head RA, and she got me in trouble for being loud a lot of times because I'm obviously really loud. And so she would always kind of get on to me, but she was actually, she fulfilled her role for me as a big sister. And so knowing her and then being able to provide for them, or at least give in some capacity that KCAB did this, I know would have touched Natalie. And she actually wrote KCAB an email just explaining like how touched she was. And Hope and Janine read it to us right before we went on, I think, Friday night. And just to kind of give everyone a boost, and just Natalie was just showing her appreciation and her thankfulness and gratitude that they did something like this. And whether it puts a big dent in the medical bills, we'll never know. But it's not so much, I think, the monetary aspect of it as it is just the compassion that KCAB showed, and that we were allowed to give to Natalie and Nathan in this time of need. And so I really think that it'll help in the financial situation, but more so she knows that she's loved and cared for, and for us to be able to serve her was an honor.
What, are there any obligations for Miss Berry? I don't know really what goes on with that.
I kind of know, I kind of don't. Like, I know that obviously I have a fundraiser to plan next year, which I'll be working with Hope Stallings and Janine Parsons. We'll be planning a fundraiser for the Sexual Assault Center of Northwest Georgia, and the money will go towards them. And other than that, I mean, there are places I think that I remember talking to Natalie about it, and I know that just in talking with people, Miss Berry will, sometimes be asked to go to certain places and be at certain things, show a face, be a representative. A lot of times, I was talking to someone this past week, and she mentioned that Miss Berry prays at a lot of places, which is great because that's fun. But and also, I know that actually in a week, I have to go to the elementary school to talk to the kindergarten class because they're on Q week, which means Q for Queen. So I actually get to go talk to 21 5- and 6-year-olds, which I think will be hilarious. So just kind of, if someone needs me, I'm there, just to kind of be a representative and kind of, just, I don't know, just show up and be there for anything. And but the biggest thing is the fundraiser.